is our 15th year of the Aisling Bursaries. So we were really delighted that we are still getting the support of local businesses to in turn support local students.
Tonight, young people who perhaps are struggling to fulfil their educational potential because of financial worries, and that sponsorship has come on board to help them, assist them financially so that they've something less to worry about.
As a government, we're doing a lot to support widening participation. It's very important that we attract and maintain people in a whole range of different forms of training and education, but still it can be very difficult for young people to remain in those programmes, and these bursaries will provide added value.
These bursaries are very, very important to local students. That a lot of these people going forward to either training or higher education are coming from extremely pressured circumstances. The expenses in going to university can be prohibitive. It's wonderful to be in a position that local businesses and community organisations and families indeed support these young people going forward.
I've supported the Bursary project for a long time, although I've been involved in it more as a business in the last probably 5 or 6 years probably. I had been in business for a long time with other colleagues in a different part of the city, and then that parted company basically, and I started a new company about nearly 6 years ago now probably. And when I did that, the intention was to try and give something back to the area in which I grew up and the people that kind of felt part of, so that's why I thought I'd then become a sponsor for the project.
I'm delighted to be here in a place of such learning too, and to be part of the presentation of the Aisling Bursary Awards.
For the 15th year in a row, local businesses are coming together and they're giving something back, and they're assisting young people financially to take that next step into further and higher education. So it's a great thing for Belfast.
And I am conscious that for many people, the decision to go into further education or higher education can still be very much a marginal call. We can do a lot as government, but we do need partnership with the wider business community, the wider voluntary sector, and in particular for those young people, even with the support from government, for whom it is still a very marginal call, this type of support can make that critical difference.
Do you know something? There is a lot of work that we undertake locally to raise the sponsors, but actually in some circumstances sponsors come along to us. They've heard about the Aisling Bursaries. What they love about it as a sponsor is that every single penny of the money that they have donated goes directly to the student who's receiving it.
This part of the city for me was a rich place for culture and cultural expression and people doing their own thing for a long time, and my family were involved in various community endeavours back in the end of the 60s and early part of the 70s, and I suppose that notion of doing things yourself and standing on your own 2 feet and also taking advice and helping people when they can give it is part of, I suppose, what I've been formed as, I suppose, for a long period of time. So I think that was important to recognise that and trying to find some mechanism to give back, or to give back to the people I felt part of.
We are lucky enough in the position now in the USA that we can help out a little bit too. And so we decided, we had a meeting, we decided that this is one organisation, one community that we'd like to help.
We like to support people who haven't made it the first time but are giving it a second try. We also really like to support young people who are going into college or training for the first time, perhaps in their whole family circle.
The key focus here has to be on higher level skills, but higher level skills can come through a whole range of different pathways. For some that will be the more traditional university route, for others it will be more of a vocational approach, and this year we've launched a new strategy for apprenticeships, and we're seeking to apply that model of on-the-job training to a whole range of new occupational areas and indeed higher skill levels.
Well, I just received the Aisling Award Bursary from Flanagan's, the solicitors, in from West Belfast, and I'll put it towards my studies, obviously, like as in reading material, transport.
And I think it's probably always hard to reach out beyond where you start from in some ways. Although that said, I think it's still good to say if you do something in an area, you don't have to move outside that area to recognise quality and worth and value. So I think that's good that it's been still located here. But I think it seems to have a broader connection to the rest of the city, where in the past people probably felt it was only about people who were from West Belfast and would give back to West Belfast. I've been involved with the local Society of Architects here in Belfast, who are based and are kind of registered with the RBA, which is a kind of broader global kind of organisation now. And there were bursaries given from that organisation. So we used to run all I did really was give them out. I didn't have to pay for them, because it was a person who'd been an architect, and his family then give money and put it into a kind of pot and give a bursary year on year. And I thought that was a hugely important thing to do, because that was initially aimed at students who would take time out of their studies to go off and look at something else somewhere else, and then come back and give a report. And I suppose that notion of doing things, saying things, and coming back and feeding back to the place and the people who give you the bursary, I think is an important thing to do, because it helps us all grow, I suppose.
That's one, okay? Portrait one again. On camera.
I think that the more businesses that back this and the more sponsorships that we can get, the better, because it enables us to help even more young people. And I would encourage young people out there who are worried about the finances of going on to further and higher education not to be worried and to look around, because there are people out there that want to help and that are willing to help.
I'm from Andersonstown, obviously I'm from West Belfast, so as much as I can further my education, as much as I can give back to my own community, it's great,
And the future of the community is in the youth. And I think what's happening here is unbelievable and definitely deserves our support.
If you're brought up in a community which is so giving, you're obviously going to want to get as much from it and give as much back.
I also believe in the business community. They've really come out, and I was really surprised how many offers were made there tonight and how many kids are benefiting from it. So I think it's great for the whole community.
Any support that can be provided to our young people in terms of widening participation in education is very much to be welcomed.
Well, we've got 15 years, and our intention really would be to try and start to grow these awards, definitely, over the next 5 years. While we're able to raise the funds from sponsors, there are always students and young people who we can help on their way, either to education or training, and to make a better life for themselves and their families.
And it just remains for me, Geraldine McAteer of the Partnership Board, to thank everyone who took part in tonight, and indeed the whole process of the Aisling Awards.